Welcome to the Diplomats here in dark mode with Audacious Hand and Superstition. I don't know if you can see it, but Audacious is drinking some wine by his fake fireplace. Keith looks like a Cub Scout with a flashlight. I'm lit with cigars. We're brought to you by diplomacybriefing.com. Although if we keep looking like we do and acting like we do, I'm not sure how much longer they will continue to sponsor us. We don't care. We're here to talk about Season 5 Nexus finals, spring 1904 moves, fall 1904 predictions. Somebody jump in because I think, well, I'm going to go with Audacious. You got the convoy right. You didn't get the move down to Tyrolia from Bohemia, and you got Superstition got the double move on France right. But tell me what went right and what went wrong on this board. Somebody jump in.
I'll let Cedric go. He did a sandbox already, so.
Well, I will say, I mean.
Did you mean Candy Sandbox?
Fucking Alexa.
Who is that?
Alexa bothered. Alexa got some thoughts too. Go ahead, Cedric.
Well, so I will say, they did not get Stitches' move. Actually, he made a really apt comment a little while back where he was telling me why they weren't going to actually do the optimal move this turn, because it seems like they can only kind of muster the cooperation and strength to really properly plan these moves every other turn. So
they kind of bungled it, didn't they? Are you talking about England and Germany?
That's right. So if you look at the move we drew up for them, they could have done more here.
Well, France supported Brest down, so there was no way for a double disband. So France anticipated it.
Oh, that's true. Well done, France. Wow.
So it doesn't matter what they did, but this is quite interesting. But yeah, France definitely saw that, and
well, they could have moved. No, you're right. Yeah, there's no way.
Well, I find it ironic. I keep telling you, England's going to get upset with the build situation, and you guys are like, no, it's cool. They're patient, and now, just when England gets a dot, he loses one. Germany's got to love that.
It's definitely good for Germany, but England's going to need one soon. I don't know why they didn't push STP.
That is interesting, isn't it? It's almost like in the Northeast and the Southwest, it's the two different powers. Like, if you would just look at the war on France, you would think that this is a deeply trusting kind of alliance. And if you look at the Northeast, it seems like two people who are absolutely paranoid about each other and can't make the move. From what I see, it's almost as if England is reluctant, refusing, and dragging its feet about attacking Russia. Like, it wants Russia there as a counterweight to Germany.
I don't know. It could be just Russian diplomacy in general.
I'm chalking it up to Russian diplomacy.
Yeah.
I can't fall too soon. This is what's going to happen. I can be of use. But my God, poor England. It's nothing but sacrifices for England.
I mean, it's his own fault, right? If he had moved that fleet in Norway west, a year ago, he could have kept this from happening. But he either wants to keep his fleets there to keep his options open against Germany, or he just cannot bring himself to believe that Germany and Russia won't take Norway from him.
Yeah, it's weird having 4 fleets hemmed up there when all that's holding it is STP. There's no reason to have those fleets there other than to protect from each other.
All right, so let's take it power by power. We'll start with France. Best you can do in a losing situation, I'd assume.
Yep.
Didn't lose Portugal. Didn't lose Portugal, didn't lose Marseille, got Liverpool. I mean, it remains to be seen if he's going to get, a build, I guess, through the fall. But tactics are impeccable given what's happening. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I agree, but he's crawling back into his French snail shell, in Iberia.
Well, that's not a bad place to be to make it to the end of the game. It's not a good place to be if you want to win.
Yeah, I don't think I think his game is over, frankly.
Yeah, his
But
tactics have been great, but
his
yeah,
tactics
without
have
an
been
ally,
great.
he can't do much.
Yeah, every single move has been a perfect defensive stand, but there's only so much he can do. England and Germany have just done just enough. Every other move they seem to be able to get in there together and come up with something good enough to keep pushing.
I don't think he's made a mistake. I might quibble that he didn't go to the channel in '01 but he didn't know for sure there was an alliance against them. But it is what it is. We'll stay in the West. We'll look at England. Scott Brest loses Liverpool.
I think he's doing
Does
well on the
the
continent.
bouncing thing in Norwegian Sea. Second time in a row, I believe. England's play, I'm underwhelmed. What about you guys?
I mean, on the continent, it's fine. I just don't know what those two fleets are doing. I mean, North has consistently done nothing. It's kind of like the Russian Warsaw Hold. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what he expects to do with it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
can't. I can't make heads or tails of the strategy is, except that play the slow game and let Germany take the lead, and then Germany is really easy to surround and kind of take out in the kind of mid game or later. So maybe he's just hoping to keep just enough there and be indispensable enough. But yeah, I'm not seeing it, and I think that Italy is about to become a threat to him as well.
I mean, the closest fleet to the north is Sweden or the North Atlantic, and you can pretty much go in an intercept mode through Norwegian. There's just so many more tiles that's more useful than North right now, unless he's willing to stab Germany soon.
I mean, I view this as a bit of a failure in diplomacy. If Sweden moved to Finland, they could take St. Petersburg. Germany appears to be at war with Russia.
Well, Russia's at war with Germany now, but I don't know if Germany's at war with Russia. I don't know.
I mean, like,
I imagine. I think that I think that England is unwilling to attack Russia, and that it's a point of contention between Germany and Russia, and that they have a kind of unusual relationship where it's very contractual. It's almost England is under contract for Germany in the war against France, but attacking Russia is not in that contract, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is why I think Italy is about to become a threat to England. And it's not just because of the way the armies and fleets are laid out, but rather that I think England, he appears to be a rather annoying ally in a lot of ways. I mean, I could be reading this wrong. England is the more dramatic moves of the alliance, but I think Italy really amazingly proactive with this move, wasted no time in going back to the position that he initially assumed against France. I think he'll probably get Marseille, and if he's just cooperative in a way that makes Germany see what a good, healthy relationship can really be, he could quickly become Germany's number one here, and frankly would be a more useful and less threatening ally.
All right, we're gonna have a few ground rules here, Audacious.
What?
If you're gonna say Marseille, you must say Paris.
Okay.
You can't be mixing and matching Americanisms for French.
Well, it happens.
All right,
Pavia sounds so pretentious, you know. Whatever.
I like how you say Trieste.
Isn't it just Tyrol too?
It's Tyrolia, but
Is
you
it?
know, it is.
All
And you
right.
don't. So, oh well, in real life, I don't know if it's Tyrol or Tyrolia, but on the board, it's Tyrolia. All right,
Alright.
I'm going to take a couple of countries. If I'm wrong, please feel free to comment. Uh, I want to do the western half of Italy. Tunis to Western Med, Venice to Piedmont. Audacious, you seem to think this is ultimately anti-English. I mean, in the short term, of course, I'm curious to see what Germany and Italy work out with respect to Marseille. Do you guys have thoughts on what Italy's going to grab out of this other than position?
Well, me and Stitches had a little bit of a difference of opinion here. I think that Germany will support Italy into Marseille or Marseilles. On the other, I think that it just puts your armies in a much better position. It gives him another strong ally to counterbalance England, who again seems to want to lurk around his centers more than he wants to attack Russia. Now the difference in opinion came is I think Stitches said he thinks that Italy will support Mid-Atlantic into Spain in order to benefit, the three of them as a kind of makeshift, a Western trip, like a mid-game Western triple with, Italy wearing the skin suit of France. I just don't see that. I think that once France falls, Italy and England immediately become rivals. If I was Italy, I would just be trying to take England's place as Germany's primary ally. Maybe not outright hostility, but I'd be insisting quite hard that Spain is mine. England can have Portugal. That's a fairly standard arrangement. And also Portugal is such fool's gold. You can just trap and pin a fleet in there pretty easily.
Well, it depends on how much power Germany has, because he seems to have a good relationship with both Italy and England. And I can see it being conditional to get Mar for Italy, as if he helps England into Spain. And it also gets rid of France. France would be down to 2 dots, just Portugal and Liverpool. I would say if I was Italy, I'd only support them in the North Coast, and then I could eject them next year easily.
But I mean, don't you think he has to be growing frustrated with England's? I mean, do you think I'm reading it wrong? In my opinion, I mean, it seems like England doesn't want to go against Russia.
It's hard to say. Maybe there's a contention of who gets STP, because a lot of times Germany wants its own corner. And so maybe Germany wants STP and England doesn't want to give it up, especially if Germany's outgrowing him this much. So maybe STP is off the table until Germany gets more gains in France. Or I mean, England gets more gains in France. So
I know it's hard to remember who's getting the gains in France. There's a lot of powers in there just gobbling her up.
Everybody's getting a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like the moves from Italy's point of view. That's the only place it's going to grow at this time. So it needs to get a build here.
It's funny because I had something a little bit more similar to this drawn up, and Stitches actually convinced me when I was doing this that Italy would be too shook, too traumatized from the abuse and the lies that she's been told, and would defend the Ionian. And this even exceeds my expectations. This is really what Tom's done here is really what I think I would have done, which doesn't mean it's the right thing, but I think that.
I mean, hats off to Italy. I mean, the guy had an army on the boot. Venice was lost, staring 2 disbands in the face.
Exactly.
And that's gone.
It's a testament because I think it both it's part of Tom's nature, and he also overcame his nature in the sense that the fact that he talked his way out of it and convoyed the army off the boot, I think, is very much in his wheelhouse. But the fact that he also combined that with immediate, decisive action, not worried about losing Venice.
Yeah, he didn't turtle at all. He knew that he had to move or he's gonna be cut out.
Exactly, and I think this is how Italy has to be played, in my opinion. You have to. It's the Germany of the sea, right? You have to be just flying your fleets east and west, in rapid succession. So well done.
Very, very impressive. I wonder if Russia had anything to do with getting Austria back on side with Italy. That's the thing we just don't know from Russia's moves, and I want to talk about those last. But I mean,
I'm not
Austria,
sure about that because I think it's in both their interest to keep France alive. So I don't know if they knew that Italy was just going to pivot away that fast.
That's a good point. Uh, let's talk about the central moves here. We got Germany taking Silesia, moving the army down. I guess England could maybe take Denmark, Holland, but fine. Anyways, Germany making a move on Russia after Russia moved to Silesia, and you see Austria moving into Tyrolia. So they've got two on Munich, but
There's a little disconnect here too because it looks like Russia supported Austria in.
Yeah, that is interesting. That when I looked at the board, that was actually the hardest thing to interpret for me.
And if you would have taken that support, even though the support was broken, it would at least bounced Munich, and it would have made it way easier to take. I would have probably defended as Germany, but he went on the aggressive and actually played out pretty well.
It did. Yeah, I really wonder what happened. I mean, I feel like I can't quite put my finger on who, but that seems like someone who's really good, who's really good at disrupting or sending misinformation into the flow of information to have that happen. It's almost as if Russia kind of somehow knew of Germany's moves, but his certainty alarmed Austria in some way. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, we knew
what's
Tyrolia
going to
was gonna
happen
take it.
here? Yeah.
It was just the reverse way.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
knew he was going to go for Tyrolia. That's right. Yeah.
It's a powerful position. It's just he's going for Munich over Venice, or maybe it could be a fake out. He could
There's
shift.
he has a taste for certain kinds of tiles. You can almost predict where he wants to go in that way.
So is Audacious, you called Italy the bad dog before and Russia the good one. Is Italy now the good dog?
Well, Italy and Turkey were bad dogs. I'm not so sure. Russia's still the best dog. Russia just shows its belly turn after turn. Look at the support to Bulgaria. Just faithful servants. You would never doubt it. I will say though, what you were saying earlier about getting Italy back on board with the Lepanto, I do think that Russia was on board with that, and until now, I thought of that as kind of a servile and kind of short-sighted thing insofar as Russia is agitating for a kind of Lepanto where Austria seems to be able to reap almost all the rewards. But now with Italy's aggressive move, if Russia kind of knew that Italy was going to go on the offensive and have the opportunity to grow like this, then you are kind of nurturing a countervailing force in Italy. So it really depends on how much Russia knows. This could be more just kind of Russian passivity and belly kind of showing, or if he's communicating more tightly with Italy, it could be a good long game.
I think it's kind of
So,
interesting that Austria is constantly pushing people back. Like, kept Turkey in the corner. Then once Italy looks like it's going to be growing, knocks Italy back to pretty much where Italy starts.
Yeah.
And then now it's like Germany's out of control, so now it's going to go and make sure Germany has to slow its roll, slow down.
well, what I liked
More.
the point you made in your rant the other day, Audacious, saying the genius of Austria is by doing what he did, he's going to get the spoils of Turkey. He's got Smyrna. Italy can't get anything off of Turkey. I don't know what Russia can do other than, we've now had 8 bounces in the black, 9, I think. No, 7. You know, so
Okay, you know what I have to say? I'm cheering for it at this point. I mean, it would be kind of cool if 1910 rolled around and they were both still bouncing the black. Like,
sometimes
if
I
they are
think
that stubborn, I will actually admire that level of just absolute inflexible kind of headbanging.
sometimes I think Backstabber should give you an option for a standing order. It's always going to happen until you turn it off.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess we're going to talk about Russia. The thing that is, it's unremarkable what's happening to me with Romania and Sevastopol. Kind of remarkable to me that St. Petersburg hasn't fallen. And Village Idiot is extremely intelligent and disciplined, but I would have been really tempted to retreat that Silesian army to Galicia. But
I probably would have went to Warsaw. That way you could still help your Austrian ally take Munich possibly, and still cover. Now he has to choose if he wants to be offensive or defensive. But
Well, I mean, going to Prussia, he can tap Berlin, which gives them a better chance of taking Munich. And that threat somewhat prevents Silesia from going to Warsaw. Moscow can still cover Warsaw.
yeah, but then you leave
It's not.
Doesn't seem to be a
I
problem.
will say I would have been tempted to move to Galicia just because that would definitely be a seemingly low stakes stab against Austria, but to me, you can still cover Warsaw in the fall with your army in Moscow. England and Germany.
well, maybe you might give up St. Pete in that.
Well, I
in that
mean,
instance.
I think at this point, I don't think England wants St. Petersburg. There's something going on there. There's something preventing them from taking St. Petersburg. I think that if he had moved to Galicia, he could have made a play against Austria, and that might have been his last chance to take another center in this game. I'm not sure if he'll be able to take another center, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if Italy for some reason isn't with Germany, that could change, but I'm not seeing any prospects for expansion.
All right. We got, I have to mention Lady Razor, man. I'm a big fan of his art with the Roman holiday reference with Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn, sorry, and Poser Tom. Really, really good stuff. This is the map as it looks now, but as we wait for the fall 1904 to occur, And I don't know if you guys worked on this jointly or if it's a Deschatan, whoever did it, take credit. But we have a little hand superstition predictions here.
That's Cedric's.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had made the
that's mine.
critique.
Unfortunately, this time I didn't have the time to incorporate Stitch's critiques, so he'll be able to kind of quickly see where I went wrong here. Again, these are all quick sketches, but so again, we see the kind of difference between me and Stitches. Stitches, you still think that Italy will support the Mid-Atlantic into Spain?
I think it's possible. Just depends on what Germany wants. I think Germany's pulling the strings. We'll definitely see how much this is a trio and how much this is just Italy having two side alliances. Or
Well, the thing is,
Germany having two side alliances.
Italy owes Germany,
He does.
right?
Yeah.
You
But
know,
I
so-
definitely think Germany will help Italy into Marseille for sure.
Italy does owe Germany, and that's why I think Italy will move into the Adriatic and Venice. I think Tom has walked through the fire, and now he is ready to kind of to grow, to transform into the no longer a poser Tom, but an authentic Tom, you know, who just takes his own destiny by the horn.
So if you think there's going to be a move by Italy, why wouldn't you convoy Apulia to Albania? You can still build in Venice if you get Marseille.
I think because if you take Marseille from the Adriatic, it's sort of like the Black Sea, where you can never really be moved from there. You bottle up any Austrian fleets; they can't move you out because he only has one port in which to build. You can build a fleet in Naples and force yourself back into the Ionian, or try. You know, I mean, Stitches did also critique me in saying that he thought that if he was going to move against Austria, that he would do so with Turkish support. But I think
I would put Turkey into Greece.
Yeah, supporting Turkey into Greece.
Contab's Bowl, you just drop Turkey into Greece. Turkey doesn't get any builds, doesn't lose any builds, and Austria can't build in Trieste against you. So when you build in Venice, you'll have the upper hand. Then you move to the Adriatic in spring, or convoy in spring.
I just think it sends a bad message to the board, to me, to help Conk, who convoyed an Austrian army into Apulia. I mean, by making you're making a strong statement here. You're helping Germany. You're showing that you have a mutual beneficial relationship with them. You're sending a message to everyone else that if you help me, this is what happens, and if you cross me, you're going to end up like Turkey and Austria.
Yeah, but Austria's attacking everybody.
And not only that, but this is more my intuition, but I have a feeling that authentic Tom does not trust Conk with information. He won't want to coordinate with Tom for fear that in his kind of desperate flailing about that Turkey, that the Ottomans will, you know, spread the information about his turn against Austria. His turn against Austria needs to remain a secret.
So the Russian predictions surely cannot be credible.
No, I don't see SDP moving at all.
They're out of character. They're out of character. One thing, actually, when you were talking in the last podcast, you kept saying that what should happen. Actually, I'm trying to draw what will happen, and then after submitting this, I realized I'm putting my own. The move to Finland is what I would do. This is what I would do, not what. This is not what Village Idiot will do with Moscow and St. Petersburg. With the rest of the units, I could see it.
Do you think he'll cut Bulgaria?
Well, I just think that Austria is such a judo master that this is what will happen, that he actually will support Russia to Bulgaria, both as a kind gesture to Russia, knowing that Turkey will support into Bulgaria, maybe planting some kind of little tinder and kindling for Konk's rage.
Well, if Conk's going to do it on his own, why wouldn't he just support Constantinople into some SMY?
Well,
Uh,
I think you can make a credible point that Romania may move to Bulgaria as a trade. You know, that Austria would invite him in, but Austria doesn't seem to be that kind of a player.
No.
I think Austria will invite him in, knowing with his gunboat spidey sense that Turkey will support into Bulgaria, they will bounce. And to Italy's horror, Italy thinking he won't get a build, he'll manage to take Smyrna and they will both get a build, resulting in an interesting little showdown. Now, this is like a really minute prediction, okay? Like, probably this won't happen, but this is just by way of showing respect to Austria, the judo master and people's champ. That I think that it does look like a somewhat challenging situation if Italy goes the other way. But I think that there will, in a way akin to this, he will worm out of it and end up with a build. I'll also say that in a lot of ways, it really makes sense for this to be the turn where Turkey finally lets Russia into the Black Sea and maybe tries to get retreated Aegean into Constantinople or something. But I think it probably has almost become a joke, or and there's something about it. Neither of them is going to back down. They're really not going to let each other in there, are they?
I don't see the Black Sea getting taken. I think he would rather blow up Austria and make it a Russian threat, saying you're going to go down with me.
I think that's a good point. Okay, anything else to say about? I mean, superstition. Do you have any thoughts on what's? I'll go back to the actual map.
Yeah.
About what you think will happen.
But yeah, the defensive move for Konk is definitely to support Constantinople and the SMY, and to just bounce the black, because if it bounces there, then they can't take Constantinople because it'll bounce there too. But yeah, the only other thing
Is there any chance? Hear me out. Aegean to Greece. Ionian supports Aegean to Greece. Romania to Budapest. Like, Italy and Russia say we're tired of being the dogs.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that that Turkey and Italy would work together to take out Greece. That way he doesn't get a build.
I don't think so. I think that the future axis of this game will be Russia and Austria as a firm alliance, France and Turkey are dead, and Germany and either Italy and England, or there'll be like a kind of unstable ménage à trois, right, where Italy and England are competing for Germany's attentions, and they're
it's good for Germany. I see Germany jumping into STP and then letting them fight over Iberia. Just like, go for it.
I'm not at all convinced that we're not going to see a gang up on Austria this turn. Galicia would have been obvious if that happened. Russia may want to help Germany. Germany's obviously been helpful to Russia so far.
But Russia can walk right into Budapest too, so.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
I don't think it'll happen, but it could. Desperate for army.
I mean, it's not something I would usually go for. I just really feel like it's getting to the point where Russia needs to get a build or never get a build.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's 5 years. 10 is usually a good score. I think if you see Germany and England have fissures, there's going to be chances for Russia.
Could be.
I mean, he's
All
not
right.
doing bad. He's still got 5 centers, and the people that have more are in the center, so they're the easiest ones to pick off.
All right, fellas. Final words or predictions before we wrap this episode up. What would you guys have anything to say? You don't, Stitches I took from you, you're not going to see the big triple attack on Austria. So what are your meta predictions?
I would still like to see Greece getting taken by Turkey, but I think that would be optimal for Italy. I don't know if that's optimal for Turkey, but yeah, that's the main thing that I see. I see nothing happening in the north, other than a slow decline in France. It'll be interesting
Okay.
how it gets split up.
And Audacious, you wanted to talk about Doc Bender and France.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to make sure that we appreciate that even with his dying gasps, he really did. He broke even the move me and Stitches drew up against him here. He saw it. It's funny because me and Stitch were even talking, and I was trying to tease him and tell him that my idea of forcing an army into Gascony would have been better, and he would have broken that move too.
He broke both of our moves.
Yeah, so.
And it was ballsy because he had to leave open 2 supply centers, which could have been taken.
Exactly. Really, we've been talking about multifold thinking, and this is really multifold thinking at best. Even in his dying gasps, you got to tip your hat to him.
Yeah, his moves are flawless.
They are.
Okay, little game here before we go. Well, both of you have to name one surprise that you actually think we will see in the fall of 1904.
Well, I mean, I already drew up Italy moving into the Adriatic.
You think it's going to happen? You think we will see it? Not you hope.
I think so. I could see that, or perhaps a convoy to Albania. I would say if we're going to the slightly outer limits, the unit that sticks out for dramatic potential is the army in Silesia to me. I guess I would ask you guys, not what you think will happen, but what would you do with that army?
I always like the Germans in Galicia.
I don't know. I having 3 armies on me, I'd definitely try to just support Munich the best I could.
That's probably right.
That's probably right too, but I would be sorely, sorely tempted to push that through as a raider and just take that risk, especially after the little miscommunication between Austria and Russia last turn, but we'll see.
I mean, it's very unlikely that Russia will not cover Warsaw. You just don't know what he's going to cover Warsaw with. So
Exactly.
It's probably a free unit to do a raider. It's a gamble.
My prediction is France will have 3 at the end of 04, not 2.
Well, it depends on what happens with Spain. They could have 2 if Italy and England work together.
And
all right.
Italy will help France?
Yeah, I'm thinking Italy might help France.
I think. Oh, you think?
Well, in that case, Italy would be firmly on Austria's side. So Italy, France, Austria. I just don't see what's in it for Italy there. But
well, I think Italy can take Marseille. No, and then and then France is still at 3.
It's still at 3.
That would be shocking. That would be shocking. But if you're right, you get even more glory for that.
All right, and
I'd love to
Which
see English North Coast Spain. I think that would be ideal for England.
which power would you want to be right now? Superstition.
Germany. I hate Germany. It's my worst power, but I want to be Germany right now. They have two good allies, and they have a good, strong defensive front.
I have to say, I think my vote is flipped back to my first love, which was Italy. Again, you have the dynamism of the West and Eastern influence. I mean, you could break support from Turkey. You could support Turkey into Greece. You could, assert yourself as the authentic Tom and refuse to help Turkey or Austria and move unilaterally against Austria with Germany. And not only that, but yeah, just the kind of the narrative potential of revenge against those that have wronged you, completing tasks that you set in motion long ago. I'm going to go with Italy.
You guys are both wrong. The power you want to be is Turkey. It's not over for him yet. The man can wield a few thousand words and turn this situation around. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. If you're listening this far, thanks for watching, listening, whatever you do. We enjoy doing these. I can't tell you how much these guys enjoy doing it. And I feel privileged to learn from them, sort of. But I appreciate it. And thanks to diplomacybriefing.com for sponsoring us. Go get all your free diplomacy news there. This will be released at the end of winter of 04. So sometime during the weekend before Thanksgiving. You guys have a good one and appreciate all the great comments.